Hercules versus Juggernaut is an epic confrontation that fans would love to see in a well-written story. Although they never fought before, this review would help you decide who would win in a matchup, so let's get started. Hercules is a demigod, born to Zeus and a mortal woman, making him one of the most powerful beings on Earth. Known as the Prince of Power, Hercules possesses vast superhuman strength, stamina, and endurance, along with immortality as a true Olympian. He also possesses incredible combat speed and reflexes that enable him to match the likes of the Centauri. He claimed that he once relieved Atlas of his burden and held up the world for him. This was confirmed in the incredible Hercules number 121 by Amadeus Cho, who explained how Atlas was punished by Zeus for warring against the gods and was condemned to forever bear the heavens on his shoulders. Atlas was interrupted by Hercules, who was ordered to fetch the golden apples from Atlas' daughters, so he asked the Titan for help. Atlas had Hercules hold up the heavens for 3 hours, while he went to look for his daughters, who had the apples. But when he returned, Atlas didn't want to hold up heavens again, and told Hercules that he would deliver the apples if he didn't mind holding up the sky for a few months longer. Hercules pretended to accept the deal, but tricked Atlas into taking the load back by asking him to hold it, while he rearranged his cloak to pad his shoulders. Hercules took the apples and ran away, while Atlas shouldered the weight of the heavens again. Hercules dragged the island of Manhattan in Marvel Team-Up number 28. Although this was later retconned to be merely a boast he had made and not a genuine feat, I believe that Hercules is strong enough to pull off such a feat. He is proven to be equal to Thor in every single aspect, including physical strength. They arm wrestled in Thor number 400, where they exerted all their incalculable strength and power to win, but in vain, as they proved to be equally matched when it comes to raw strength. This takes us to Thor Blood Oath number 3, where Thor goes with the Warriors 3 to Olympus to retrieve the magic pig of Dionysus. Thor says that he and Hercules nearly broke themselves when they last fought, hadn't they been stopped. Volstagg triggers Thor when he asks if he isn't sure he could beat Hercules. Thor approaches the drunk Hercules and hails him in peace, addressing him as the strongest man in his realm. But Hercules doesn't recognize Thor and tells him that he means the strongest in all realms. Thor wonders how Hercules can't recognize him, and deduces that because Hercules is heavily drunk, then explains that he came for the magic pig. Hercules tells Thor that if Dionysus wants his pig, then he should ask for it, but Thor says that Dionysus didn't do that, because Hercules is a thug, a brute, and clearly drunk out of his mind. This quickly escalates into a brawl, where Hercules attacks Thor and punches him away, remarking that Thor should ask to get the pig nicely. Thor, who is forced not to use Mjolnir in this journey, knocks Hercules down, but Hercules drops Thor, then puts him in a bear hug, from which Thor breaks free by hitting Hercules in his head. Hercules attacks again, but Thor picks him up and tosses him into the rocks, which Hercules shatters with a punch. Thor urges Hercules to stop fighting him, but Hercules attacks again, forcing Thor to fight back. He swings Hercules with great speed and tosses him away, but Hercules falls back and clashes with Thor, and they both punch each other. Although they win the respect of each other, Hercules tells Thor that he can't match his will and quickly puts him in a chokehold, forcing Thor to admit that although they are equal in the battlefield, Hercules is slightly better in hand-to-hand combat. Thor finds himself forced to summon lightning and strikes Hercules to break his grip, while Zeus refuses to interfere in favor of his son in order to teach him a lesson. Hercules tells Thor that he cheated, but Thor says that he didn't, and that his arms can reach the sky and control the weather. Fandral calls the fight a tie, and Volstagg says that he's never seen such a fight before. Hercules says that his head rings like a bell, and tells Dionysus to take his pig back. These facts clearly show that Hercules is easily as strong as Thor, but is definitely superior when it comes to combat skills. In Civil War II, Gods of War number 3, Hercules gets mind-controlled by the new gods called the Uprising Storm, who turn him into a machine of destruction. He scatters his fellow gods, Sigurd, Gilgamesh, and Beowulf, then confronts the Avengers when they try to stop him. He breaks free from Spider-Man's webs, then humbles Medusa, and takes Captain Marvel's blasts unharmed, and doesn't stop until Captain America awakens him, when he yells "Avengers Assemble," and helps him break the spell. In Thor number 418, Hercules avenged his loss to the wrecking crew, and destroyed them, regaining his self-confidence and esteem, with little help from Thor, who pretended that he was beaten by the crew, to force Hercules to interfere and help him. Hercules shattered Thunderball's nearly indestructible wrecking ball and destroyed the crew, forcing them to teleport away. In Hercules' Twilight of a God, which takes place in an alternate reality, Hercules defeats Silver Surfer and breaks his indestructible board, then uses it to kill him. I don't believe Hercules can do that in the canon reality, but it's still a cool feat to mention. Juggernaut, on the other hand, is empowered by the magical gem of Sitarak, which grants him vast superhuman strength, stamina, durability, endurance, and immunity to most physical attacks. When Cain Marco found the gem of Sitarak in that Korean cave, it turned him into the Juggernaut, as the cave came crashing down. When he finally bottomed out, he had to dig his feet into the bedrock to get any traction, and had to fight through thousands of cubic feet of aggregate, and after that, through miles of rock, clay, and stone. Juggernaut doesn't need air to breathe, but it was still suffocating. He doesn't need food, but in the end, he was hungry enough to eat dirt, and he spent over a month underground before he saw the light of day. In the mighty Thor number 412, Juggernaut proves invulnerable to tank Thor's lightning unharmed, which only tickled him, forcing Thor to unleash the most terrifying Asgardian power of all, which once hurled back Galactus. Thor summoned the God Force which flows within his veins, and united it with the power of Mjolnir, then blast Juggernaut, which felt himself being pushed backward. The blast destroyed the ground beneath Juggernaut, allowing the new warriors to restrain him in a steel cocoon, buying Thor enough time to open a portal of time and space and banish Juggernaut to a distant dimension. But Juggernaut managed to break free and survived unharmed. In the mighty Thor number 17, Thor confronted the more powerful eighth-day Juggernaut, who tanked all Thor's blows unharmed, then knocked him into a wall before walking away. Thor admitted that Juggernaut's power increased 100-fold and wondered how he could defeat him. Thor attacked again, but couldn't stop Juggernaut, who managed to put him in an unbreakable bear hug, where he felt that he was losing consciousness, and maybe life itself. The exemplars known as Bedlam and Conquest interfered and separated them. They knocked Thor away and threatened to kill him if he tried to mess with them again. Cain can get unlimited power from the gem as long as his purpose is soul destruction. He gained complete access to the gem's powers during the Trion saga, which increased his power 1,000-fold. Trion Juggernaut was powerful enough to break down barriers most people didn't know even exist, and was smashing his way into another dimension, ripping through the fabric of space-time itself. In a Juggernaut one-shot story, the demon despair blasts Juggernaut with the heat of his self-pity and loathing, and the sum total of his entire miserable life hurled at him tenfold, focused by the power of Sitarak. Although despair managed to turn Juggernaut into a skeleton, that wasn't enough to stop him, allowing Spite to take advantage of her brother's distraction and banished him, then restored Juggernaut's damaged form and powers. Although Juggernaut is widely considered as one of the most powerful beings in Marvel, He has been defeated by many opponents such as Onslaught, Iceman, Captain Universe, Venom, and even Deadpool, among others. Deadpool hit Juggernaut with a concrete mixer truck and managed to restrain him before pouring concrete on him. This inconsistency in depicting Juggernaut's power is truly annoying, but supposedly necessary to fulfill the plot's needs. Although Hercules is incredibly strong and skilled, raw strength alone will not be enough to defeat the magically powered Juggernaut, who has proven to be invulnerable against traditional physical attacks. Juggernaut would defeat Hercules in most scenarios, unless Hercules was armed with an enchanted weapon, for example. In Thunderstrike number 2, Eric Masterson confronted Juggernaut and realized the hard way that Juggernaut can't be physically damaged or stopped, and although Hercules is way stronger than Masterson, he would still lose to Juggernaut if he only relied on his physical strength. Eric, however, didn't back off and hit Juggernaut with his hammer, and that's when someone blasted Juggernaut with a burst of shattering energy and dropped him in a crater caused by the blast. Juggernaut told Eric that he made him really mad, but before he could reach the surface, Eric struck Juggernaut with the enchanted blood axe and managed to remove his helmet. Kane told Eric that the axe had to be enchanted to tag him that way, otherwise Masterson wouldn't have a chance whatsoever. Hercules' raw strength and combat skills alone would not be able to stop the Juggernaut, but Hercules armed with the enchanted blood axe or the celestial power of War Hulk would definitely increase his chances of stopping the unstoppable. Hope you liked the video. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like. Thanks for watching, and have a nice one.